Meanwhile, those living in Haifa in northern Israel are preparing for a potential conflict with the Iranian-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah. The port city was badly hit during the Second Lebanon War in 2006 and is expected to be a target once again. Our Middle East correspondent Jenny Hill visited the city and sent this report.
Deep underground, a place of last resort. This car park's now a hospital. If there's an attack on Haifa, the vast bunker will shelter the sick and take in the injured.
When is it going to happen? Nobody knows. We talk about it a lot. In general, people are optimistic. We hope it's going to be in short duration.
There are operating theatres, a maternity ward, a command bunker, and supplies to keep going for 3 days.
They tell us here they're fully prepared for an attack. Israel insists it's ready for any eventuality. And yet, you can sense the unease. You can feel the fear.
This port city is vulnerable. Lebanon and Hezbollah's rockets are close by. Just look across the shipping lane. You can see the border.
It's a ticking time bomb. Any minute now, it could be like an alarm. Will I die? Will I have time to go home to my family?
It will be probably drones or missiles, and it will be problematic for us to evacuate Haifa.
But for Luai, who opened his coffee shop 6 months ago, the constant threat has dulled the fear.
Are you afraid?
I'm not afraid.
For the mayor of Haifa, sleepless nights. He ran the city when Israel was at war with Lebanon nearly 20 years ago.
I'm very sad about it, that there is a folk in the Middle East which their leaders are only concerned about destruction, killing, fighting, instead of building.
So Haifa's doctors continue to prepare their fortress hospital. But international diplomacy's ongoing. Hope still, perhaps, they'll never have to use it. Jenny Hill, BBC News, Haifa.
Well, let's now speak to our correspondent, Hugo Bashega, who's in Beirut. So, Hugo, we have the view there from northern Israel in Haifa. How about in Lebanon, where you are? How are people viewing the prospect of an escalation of the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah?
Well, Catherine, everybody here in Lebanon is waiting for this response from Hezbollah. Yesterday, we heard from the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, who said that the group is going to retaliate after the assassination of a senior commander by Israel last week here in Beirut, in the group's stronghold in the southern suburbs of Beirut. And he said this response is coming. It is going to be strong and effective, and that Hezbollah couldn't treat this assassination as any other attack. So again, everybody here waiting to see what Hezbollah is planning to do. But obviously they are in a very difficult position because they know that they need to send a message that this was an attack that was significant for the group. It happened in the group's stronghold here in Beirut, in the capital of the country. But also they need to give a response that is measured, so to not provoke a huge Israeli response. And we know that some inside Israel are in favor of an attack, of a military campaign against Hezbollah. Tens of thousands of Israeli residents in northern communities remain displaced because of these attacks that have been happening along the border between Lebanon and Israel almost every day. So there is the fear that this expected response from Hezbollah could trigger a reaction from Israel, and this could lead to an escalation of hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel. And obviously, in the last few days, countries have been urging their citizens to leave Lebanon. Flights here have been cancelled, suspended. Many tickets have sold out. So people who want to leave the country have now very limited options. But still, there's no sense of panic here. There are no signs of people desperately trying to leave Lebanon, but the entire country and the region is now waiting for this response from Hezbollah.
And Hugo, we've heard from Hezbollah congratulating Yahya Sinwar on his new role as the overall leader of Hamas now. Just tell us a bit more about the reaction there in the region to Yahya Sinwar assuming this position.
Exactly. So Iran and Hezbollah congratulating Yahya Sinwar for this nomination. Many here seeing this as a sign of defiance because he was obviously the leader of Hamas in Gaza. Now he is the leader of Hamas, replacing Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated in Tehran. So he's consolidating his power over Hamas. Obviously, he was one of the masterminds of the October the 7th attacks on Israel, and we also had reaction from Israel saying that this was another sign of the need to kill Yahya Sinwar and also to destroy Hamas. Now, it's very interesting that he is believed to be hiding in the vast network of underground tunnels in Gaza, but he continues to dictate Hamas's actions, especially when it comes to the ceasefire and hostage deal negotiations in Gaza. So Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, again said that he remained the primary decider when it came to this deal. And the hope, obviously, is that a deal can be reached for a pause in the fighting in Gaza, also for those hostages to be released. But there's also the hope that any kind of ceasefire in Gaza could help de-escalate tensions across the region, because again, here in Lebanon, Hezbollah has been saying that they will observe here in Lebanon any ceasefire in Gaza. But as these tensions continue, I think hopes are diminishing that for now any kind of deal can be reached.
Hugo, thank you. That's our Middle East correspondent Hugo Bashega in Beirut there.